on to Knitting Needles and Stems. I'm Carrie, I'm your host. Today we'll talk about works in progress, finished objects, knit-alongs, my patterns, and gardening. So today is April 13th, 2025, and tax day is April 15th, 2025. So there are 2 more days to this long and exhausting tax season, and I'm super excited that it's almost over. This point comes every year. We get really, we work a lot, we work hard, and then it's nice when that day finally comes. Another new thing that happened is Raegan went roller skating with her friend. She hasn't been on roller skates since she was about 4 years old, and she didn't enjoy it then. But she said that she did have fun roller skating at her friend's 14th birthday party. So let's just jump right into works in progress. Okay, the first thing I've been working on is my Mira River Wrap by Tammy Canavan-Soldaat. For this one, I'm using the giant cone of cobweb yarn that I had. Sorry if you can hear noise. My cat and dog are playing in the plants behind me. And I have my 3D printer on pause, so there's a fan blowing. But anyway, this is the Mira River Wrap by Tammy Canavan-Soldaat. This was for a giant cone of cobweb yarn that I had. You can see it's really super thin. And I'm using beads from Fire Mountain Gems for this one. It's slowly growing. I'm probably going to keep going until I run out of beads. And then I'll figure out if it'll be a scarf or a cowl or what I'm going to end up doing with it. But again, that's the Mira River Wrap by Tammy Canavan-Soldaat. The next thing that I've been working on is Musselburgh by Ysolda Teague. For this one, I'm using the leftover yarn from my Flax Light, if you remember that from a few episodes ago. And it's Knitologie Sheen in the colorway Titmouse. And this is the very start of the hat. I'm still doing the increases. I'm going to have these colors as one side of the hat. If you don't know, the Musselburgh is a double-sided hat, and basically you start at the tip of one hat and increase to make the one hat, and then you just start from the bottom of the second hat and decrease until you get to the end. So it's like a big oval tube when you're done. So for this side, I'm going to use one side of the hat, I'm going to use this color, and then I'm going to try to find a solid color that'll coordinate with this to use for the other side. So it'll be a nice double thick warm hat when I'm done with it. Again, this is the Musselburgh by Ysolda Teague using Knitologie Sheen in the Titmouse colorway. The next thing I've been working on is the new Mystery Gnome by Schira, Professor Fungi. I have finished clue 2, so if you are knitting along and you're not that far, you should not watch this section of the video. Like, just fast forward through the next 2 minutes. So for the first clue, for this one I'm using Berroco Ultra Alpaca Fine in the Barley colorway, and Claudia Hand Painted Yarns Addiction in Cherries, Quince and Company Finch in Twig, and White Fingering. I don't know what company the fingering is from. It's just some leftover that I had. But all the other yarns were left over from my Rustic Dreams sweater that I finished. But for the first clue, we had all these little bits and bobs that we made. Pretty sure these are arms. I'm also pretty sure that this is a beard, which how cute is that? You get all the strings out of it. There we go. Not sure what this is going to be yet. And I'm pretty sure this is our nose. And then for clue 2, we started a little start here. So Clue 3 has already been released. I have not started on it yet. I've been busy at work and haven't got to that. But I will very soon get to Clue 3 and get caught up on that. So again, that is Professor Fungi by Schira, using Berroco, Ultra, Alpaca, and Barley. Claudia hand-painted yarns Addiction and Cherries, and Quince and Company Finch and Twig, and then some white leftover fingering that I had. Next, I'm working on a pair of socks for my middle daughter. She is allergic, or she has a sensitivity to wool and can't wear wool. So these are being made using Premier Yarns, Fruits, and Dragonfruit, the Dragonfruit colorway. And this is kind of a mashup of patterns. I have the Fish Lips Kiss Heel by Socks Therapist, and the Shorty heel tab at the top, and this is by Larissa Gregorin. And I thought she likes shorty socks, and I thought that would be the perfect top to the sock. And I love the Fish Lips Kiss heel, so I figured I'd put the two together. And she only wears a size 5 or 6 in adult women, so her feet are tiny. It won't be very much longer, and I'll be done with her sock here. But the colors are just exactly like a dragon fruit, the inside and then the peel and the outer layer. So again, I got the Shorty heel tab by Larissa Gregorin, Fish Lips Kiss Heel by Socks Therapist, and the yarn is Premier Yarns Fruits in the Dragon Fruit colorway. And the last thing that I've been working on is my Days In by Judy Gibson counted cross stitch. I didn't take it out of the hoop this time, but you can see I have the outline of the deer here. This is a tree, and this tree right here is pretty much all filled in already. So I'm making slow progress. I only work on it about an hour a week, but an hour a week is all it takes to get through it. So again, that's the Day's End by Judy Gibson counted cross stitch. Now let's move on to finished objects. The first thing I finished is actually two things, 2 pairs of socks. These are the Fish Lips Kiss Heel socks by Socks Therapist. I just used the vanilla sock pattern, straight knitting until I got to the heel, and used the Fish Lips Kiss Heel. I finished, these are using Knit Picks Felici sock in the olive juice colorway and Knit Picks Stroll in cranberry. And I finished the pair for me. This is the pair for me. And then I finished, this is the final pair of the olive juice colorway socks, and these are the pair for my oldest. My oldest wanted long socks, so that's what they got, is long socks. So you can see I usually make my socks to where the leg is the same length as the foot, and these are like 3 inches longer because that's what they wanted. So again, that's the Fish Lips Kiss Heel by Socks Therapist on both pairs. And I use Knit Picks Felici in the olive juice colorway and Knit Picks Stroll in cranberry for the heels and toes and the cuffs, the tops of the cuffs on my pair. And for this one, because I didn't have enough of the cranberry left, I just used the olive juice. And I have plenty of the olive juice colorway yarn to make maybe a matching hat or something of that sort to go coordinate with the socks. Okay, the next thing that I finished is the Clean 2025 by Silke R. This is a washcloth pattern that was for the Saturday Social and the Knitting in the Loft group. For this one, I used Knit Picks Dishie and Mulberry and Lilac Mist. I really like mosaic knitting because you only use one color in each row and use slip stitches to make the pattern. And how perfect is this for 2025? It's a great way to make a pretty pattern on your washcloth, and it gives it some texture, which makes it really good for scrubbing surfaces or dishes or whatever you're going to use it for. So again, this is the Clean 2025 by Silke R, using Knit Picks Dishie and Mulberry and Lilac Mist. The next thing I finished was for the Project a Month knit along group. For March, we made the Popple Bandana by the Lamb and Kids design. For this one, I used Joyful Journey Alpaca's yarn in a natural gray and a hand-dyed purple. So here's the bandana, and it's perfect for just a little extra layer when you're going out, or you can pull it up over your head and keep your ears warm. So it's just a cute little pattern, and it has these floating stitches, and it also has slip stitches, but it is not mosaic. And it's just, this is so soft and cozy. It'll be a perfect second layer for when it's a little bit chilly outside. And the alpaca, of course, is extra warm. So again, this is Popple Bandana by the Lamb and Kid Designs. And I use Joyful Journey Alpaca yarn. Joyful Journey is a local alpaca farm to me. And the gray is a natural, and then the purple was hand dyed by the owner there. The next thing that I finished is my hand span gloves by Jenny Stamen. For this one, I used up what was left of my Woolens and Nosh 2024 Advent Kit. That's the stripes here. And I used the 100 Ravens Iacos. That's the blue here that I had left over from another project. And then this color was left over from one of my gnomes, and I don't know what yarn it is or any of that, but I finished both gloves. They're kind of Frankenstein gloves because I ran out of yarn, but that is okay because I don't mind if things don't match. The bottoms match, the stripes match, and then they just kind of go crazy at the top, which I kind of love. So again, this is Hand Span by Jenny Stamen, and in this pattern, you don't have to cut your yarn for every finger. So you work the finger, and then you just pull the yarn through to then pick up the stitches and work the next finger. And for mine, you can secure the yarns in there, but for mine I didn't, because it doesn't bother me. My fingers don't get caught, but you can see it's just pulled down from the finger to start the next finger. But since my fingers don't get caught on them, I'm just going to leave them the way they are now. If I end up getting my fingers caught or having issues with it, I'll sew them down in the future. So, Hand Span by Jenny Stamen. I used the rest of my Woolens and Nosh 2024 Advent Kit and 100 Ravens Iacos in this blue. I'm not sure what the color name was. The next thing, the last thing that I finished is Niblet. Niblet is the smallest gnome in the No Fun Like Gnome Fun pattern by Schira. You can see he's just a little guy. And this was my March gnome that I finished. He kind of looks to me like a little pineapple with the colors that I used. So he's just so little and cute. And he has the little beard and the little nose. So the beard is actually sewn on, but we're using double stitches. And the nose is a French knot. So how cute is he? This is Niblet from the pattern No Fun Like Gnome Fun by Schira. Okay, now let's move on to knit-alongs. The Unraveling podcast group on Ravelry is still hosting the knit-along for the Knitting Bag of Tricks book and workbook by Patty Lyons. They are on lesson 7. I am so far behind. I've only made it through lesson 1. But that's okay because they have a different thread set up in the Ravelry group for each lesson. So you can work at your own pace and post in that thread for that lesson and read about everybody else's learnings from that lesson. And if you don't want to look ahead, you don't have to. But if you do want to look ahead, you can go ahead and look ahead also. So that's the Unraveling podcast group on Ravelry. And they're hosting the Knitting Bag of Tricks by Patty Lyons workbook and book knit along. Then for the Project a Month knit along in April, they're doing April by Romy Dame La Lata. This pattern is a shawl, which I am not going to be making because I know myself, I know I can't make a shawl in 1 month in that group. So I'm just going to be cheering everybody along on that knit along for that group. Again, they're hosting with April by Romy Dama La Lata. Now let's move on to my patterns. My Mystery Spring Critter is ready to be purchased. The pattern was released on April 1st. And the knit along, the make along, it's a knit available on both knit and crochet. And it's the make along starts on April 15th. And that's only 2 days from today. It'll probably only be 1 day from the day that this video posts. So I'm super excited to get that started and see what yarns everybody comes up with. This is a medium-sized animal that uses bulky weight yarn, and it is released in 6 different clues, 1 clue for each week. And if you post your final project picture in the final thread, you get entered for a chance to win some yarn from me. So jump over to Ravelry, join in on the fun. I'll include a link to the patterns in the show notes for this episode. So jump on over and join us. Now let's move on to gardening. So if you remember from the first episode, I saved some seeds from pumpkins and acorn squash. Well, the pumpkin seeds ended up molding. I didn't let them dry long enough, so I threw them away. But I did get some starter pods from my local superstore and started the acorn squash inside, which people don't normally do. I was just so excited to get it planted that I went ahead and did it anyway. So this is my acorn squash here. You can see I just started them a couple weeks ago, and they're almost to the point where they're gonna start having leaves, and then I can put them into a sunny spot. Right now they're supposed to stay in shade until they have leaves. And I also bought some beefsteak tomato seeds that I also planted, and you can see these little guys here are the beefsteak tomatoes. And again, I'm just waiting I'm going to let them grow a little bit more, and then I'll fit them out to only 1 plant per pod. And once they have leaves, I'll do that, and I'll put them in the sun, and then they should grow good for me to plant when it's time to plant outside here, which is usually in the middle of June up here because our weather is so much colder than other climates. But it's so nice to watch the seedlings grow and see how fast they're growing. It's always fun when it's time to plant new plants and see what we can grow in the garden outside. And once it gets warmer, I'll be doing more parts of my videos outside for the gardening, because that's when I do most of my gardening outside in the summer. And that's all I have for you today. So until next time, keep doing what you love.